What's up, Gearheads? Welcome to an episode on Gear Oil Cafe. Today we are changing the roof liner. I found some awesome material that I love the pattern on, and I haven't seen too many people do this on their Fusion, so this is going to be an epic project. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy it. Alright guys, let's jump right into this. The first thing I ended up doing was taking off those handles above the windows. Next, what you want to do is start around from the edges. So I started in the passenger rear quarter panel, and it's kind of two pieces, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to lay those back seats down, and then that'll give you access to the lower portion of the plastic panel, and then after you remove the lower part, then you can do the upper part. Basically, there's just kind of two pieces of the panel, and you're going to want to separate them, and only thing separating them is just a bit of a clip, so just give it a good tug. As for the sun visors, the sun visor is a little tricky. They don't really have any screws. They just got these weird kind of pressure clips which connects the lights for the sun visors. So undo the tape that's covering over that little clip, and then you should see a little piece where you can stick a small screwdriver in and disconnect it. Now work your way to the front. These pillars here up the front on the sides of the windshield just need a good tug and they come down. Now the thing is that these have wires and all that running through, especially on the driver's side. So once you see the wiring harness, you'll know exactly what I mean. These pillars have wires running through them for all the electronics that are hidden inside the roof liner. Basically just one big harness that runs throughout the entire roof liner, and it's all glued down with factory glue. So my initial instinct was to cut the glue off, and so I didn't have to worry about the wires. I can just disconnect it from the roof liner, but that's just not going to happen. So what I end up doing is I actually cut the wiring harness, placing a sequenced number between both sides of the wire that I was going to cut, and then that allowed me to cut in between the numbers. So each wire was labeled 1 through 16, and then that allowed me to put them back in the same spot where I got them from. Now that you got that all cleared, the clips are all done, the roof liner's loose, it's just sitting there. Lay your front seats flat down, lay the back seats down, and clear out your trunk as much as possible. It's gonna have to go out the trunk because there's no other way to get this sucker out of there, and gradually push right to left and stake it out the back trunk. You're gonna have to curve the roof liner a bit and bend it a bit, and it might seem like it might break or distort, but it should be okay. Now that your roof liner is out, give it a quick wipe down. You can use a damp cloth to do that, just like any upholstery. After it was done and it was clean, I sprayed it down with the glue and made everything kind of tacky. Now that you got glue on the roof liner and you got glue on the material, get a couple extra hands again and bring it into a nice clear indoor space where you can work on it. Lay the material on the roof liner by starting from the inside, working way out. So this will allow you to kind of bend it around the curves. There's a bit of a divot where normally some people would have sunroofs, so that'll allow you to get that curve first and then work your way out to the edges. Once it's all tacked down and laid down, then you can either add some more glue to get the edges. I chose the glue that's going to give me the most amount of tack time, so basically it's not going to dry as fast. But what I would recommend to you is that you would do half the job first, allow the first part of the job to tack up and get sticky, and then lay the material on it, and then do the second half after. So that way you're not really in a rush to finish the whole roof liner at once. Now that your material is basically all finished and on the roof liner and taking time to dry and harden and all that good stuff, now go over to the wiring harness. You can either work from the roof liner or you can work from the car. In this situation, I end up kind of doing both. But basically, you're going to want to extend those wires and give yourself a little more wiggle room, because when you put the roof liner back in, you reconnect all your wires. If you don't give yourself a little more wiggle room and a little more length on those wires, it might pull a bit and it could disconnect, or you could disconnect one wire or mix up your wires. And so we didn't want that. So what we end up doing is labeling them and extending them. This isn't a job I plan to do multiple times. So I just hardwired it right in there and didn't need to use solder or anything. Just used some heat shrink tubing and then used some electrical tape and just sealed it all up as best I could. So now that all the wires are ready to go and ready to be connected, and the roof liner is getting ready to be put back into the car, do exactly the same as you did before. This time, I think it felt like it was a little quicker, maybe because I think that once you do something, you kind of know the process of doing it. It's a little easier, a little simpler to kind of redo it. So when we got it in there and we started pushing the trunk, it just wanted to just slide right in. So it was a little easier putting it back in than when we took it out initially. So now that the roof liner is back in the car, work your way from the back part of the car in the back pillars, and then work your way closer to the front. There's a couple magnets, like I said in the beginning, that attach the back portion, as well as the plastic paneling will actually hold the back end up. Then you and your extra pair of hands can actually work your way up to the middle, where the middle pillars are, and then to the front. And for us, what we did is we added a dash cam. So this is where we managed to fit that extra wire in and made it seamless so that we can not have to see that power cord for the dash cam. And that's basically it. All you got to do now is put the visors back in, put the handles back in, make sure everything's smooth out and looking really good. Put your battery back in or reconnect your battery again, and then test everything out, making sure it works. I do want to give a special shout out to Anthony Ortiz from the Ford Fusion group. This guy's Fusion is absolutely astounding. I love it. So many cool ideas. And this idea definitely came from him. So special shout out to you, brother. And that's it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun doing this roof liner. It took a lot of work, but it was a blast, and I love the way it turned out in the car. There's a couple things I would change differently, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to touch it up and we're going to go into it again. Maybe get a material that's a little more stretchier, something a little more pliable. But guys, if you want to do this for your car, I highly recommend it. It's an awesome touch. It personalizes the entire car, and I love it. If you like what you saw today, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for more notifications, and you're going to get a lot more content coming your way. Take care.